Hi, this is a little lesson to address a problem that I've seen with some of my students, and also people have been asking about it online and in comments on YouTube videos and things like that. And of course, if you've got a question like that, let me know and I'll make a little video to try and address it. The problem was that people have been saying to me, when I play that chord, I can't get this finger or that finger to reach the string it needs to reach. And that is a very common thing. And the obvious answer straight away is, well, you'll get better. You'll learn to strengthen your fingers and stretch your fingers, and you'll start to be able to do it. But something I have noticed is that hand position can really put you at a disadvantage and put you in a position where no amount of stretching and strengthening is ever going to make it an easy thing to do. And it's an easy fix. You'll often see lessons where we talk about, I've done it myself, not letting the neck drop into your hand here, because that means that your fingers have really got to screw up to reach the strings, and it's not very comfortable, and you can make life so much easier by letting your thumb drop down. But there's an equally bad problem when you do have your thumb on the back of the neck if your hand isn't in the right position, and this isn't one that's talked about that often. This is what I'm seeing. Thumb on the back of the neck, wrist bent almost to 90 degrees, because people feel then that that's put their fingers round far enough to be able to reach. And it might do, and there are times when you will need to reach round like that to get the right thing. But what you really want to have is your thumb on the back of the neck and a straight wrist, or reasonably straight. When you go for a bar chord, you'll bend it a little bit, but certainly not this. Your wrist here needs to be behind the ukulele neck, not in front of it like that. And in fact, these knuckles here should be more or less in line with the bottom of the neck. Not behind it, where you can't reach around, but not really far in front of it like that. But more or less around there. You want to be in a kind of neutral position. If I have my wrist bent like that, apart from the fact that that's a great way to injure yourself, trying to do things with a heavily bent wrist, what happens is that these fingers don't arch, and you'll start using the bend of the wrist instead of the bend of the fingers. And if I put my index finger down straight on one of these strings, it's very difficult to get my second finger to that fourth string to, say, make an F chord. And that finger is starting to bend, but I'm finding that quite difficult. And that's because I've got my wrist bent there, but my fingers are more or less straight. Instead, we need to get an arch on the fingers. And this is where you need to get the position right. Now, I've said about putting your thumb on the back of the neck, but there are lots of places you could put your thumb. Where you really want it is about 3/4 of the way round towards the top of the neck. In fact, you can see my thumb just sticking over a little bit. I still haven't let the neck drop in there, I'm not doing that, but I'm also not having my thumb right down here, which I sometimes see really low on the bottom of the neck. And that means it's very difficult to get a finger all the way across the fingerboard without this wrist popping out like that. So try putting your thumb on the back of the neck, but letting just the tip of your thumb peep over, and you'll be in more or less the right position, about 2/3, 3/4 of the way around the neck. Then your fingers arch, and you should be able to put down your index finger there, say for an F, and your second finger there, with no stretch involved, because both of those fingers are curved. If I was stretching, they'd be straight, but they're curved over nicely. Plus, of course, if you're stretching to reach and your finger's straight and you stretch it out, what happens is it touches the strings next to it and they don't ring out. Whereas if you've got your hand up a little bit, your wrist straight, those fingers will arch over and they'll come down nicely away from all of the other strings around them. So when you start playing, try messing with the position of your thumb on the back of the neck and try and keep your wrist somewhere around a neutral position. It's going to have to move, but what it shouldn't be doing is anything like this or like that the other way. We get people, when they drop the neck into there, you tend to get people with their wrist bent backwards like that, which is, I mean, you can see my shoulders come up, it's really uncomfortable, probably going to hurt myself. but it's just as bad going that way. So try and keep your wrist straight, thumb about 3/4 of the way round the back of the neck, and the fingers in a nice arch. And you should find that, look, most of my chord shapes now are underneath relaxed, curved fingers. No stretching at all. An F, an a G7, a C, and even when I go for a bar chord, I don't have to dramatically change the angle of my wrist. I hope this helps. I'll see you again soon. Bye.